Namaste. Today, all of us have assembled here to commemorate the centenary of the unforgettable, heinous, and barbaric Mopla massacre, a Hindu genocide where thousands of Hindus were butchered, massacred at the hands of the barbaric Moplas in the Malabar region. I thank the organizers for taking the pains of organizing this very important event and also giving me this opportunity to share a few thoughts with all of you. Friends, it is important to understand history from the right perspective so that we are aware of the lessons of history, so that we will be prepared for eventualities in the future. In that regard, commemorating events, remembering episodes from history, like the Mopla massacre, assumes important societal and civilizational importance. The trigger for the Mopla riots was the pan-Islamic movement of the Khilafat agitation. The Muslims of India wanted to support their co-religionists in Turkey in their attempt to establish the Islamic Caliphate. Strangely, the Indian National Congress of that time decided to support this pan-Islamic extraterritorial agitation in India and provided unconditional support to the leaders of the Khilafat movement in India. The well-intentioned, albeit naive, objective of doing so was to win over the Muslims on the side of the Hindus in the war against the British, and also to primarily establish a bonhomie and harmony in the Hindu-Muslim relations. The Mopla agitation in Kerala took a very different turn and much less contribute to Hindu-Muslim bonhomie. It resulted in one of the bloodiest genocides in the history of southern India. Much less contributing to Hindu-Muslim bonhomie, the Malabar riots in the southern part of India took a violent turn, resulting in a genocide of the Hindus, which even to this day is recorded as one of the most brutal episodes of Hindu massacre in all of India. Let me read out to you a few lines from Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar's commentary on the Mopla riots, which he writes extensively in his seminal book, The Partition of India. Commenting on the scale and brutality of atrocities, Dr. Ambedkar writes as follows: the Hindus were visited by a dire fate at the hands of the Moplas. Massacres, forcible conversions, desecration of temples, foul outrages upon women such as ripping open pregnant women, pillage, arson and destruction. In short, all the accompaniments of brutal and unrestrained barbarism were perpetrated freely by the Moplas upon the Hindus until such time as troops could be hurried to the task of restoring order through a difficult and extensive tract of the country. This was not a Hindu-Muslim riot. This was just a Bartholomew. The number of Hindus who were killed, wounded or converted is not known, but the number must have been enormous. The British government records of that day, 2,266 were killed, More than 1,600 were wounded, more than 5,600 were captured, while more than 38,000 surrendered during military engagements. And it took more than 5 months for the British Army to control the rebellion. Even Annie Besant, in the Theosophical Society magazine, documented the atrocities that were committed on the Hindus at that time. She also happened to be an eyewitness. This is what Dr. Annie Besant records. The misery is beyond description. Girl wives, pretty and sweet, with eyes half blind with weeping, distraught with terror. Women who have seen their husbands hacked to pieces before their eye, in the way Moplas consider as religious. Old women tottering, whose faces become written with anguish and who cry at a gentle touch. Men who have lost all, hopeless, crushed, desperate. Can you conceive of a more ghastly and inhuman crime than the murders of babies and pregnant women? A pregnant woman carrying 7 months was cut through the abdomen by a rebel, and she was seen lying dead on the way with the dead child projecting out of the womb. Another, a baby of 6 months, was snatched away from the breast of his own mother and cut into 2 halves. Are these rebels human beings or monsters? These are the words of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, the words of Annie Besant. There are British records, there are many eyewitness records which in detail document the horror that took place over a period of 7 to 8 months in Malabar. While all of this was taking place, the leaders of the Congress party did not even acknowledge that such a massive Hindu massacre was taking place. In the Ahmedabad Congress session that followed soon after these riots, the Congress did not so much as acknowledge or condemn the Mopla riots in their official resolution. Be that as it may, 100 years thereafter, the Hindus in Kerala are still a surviving race, and we have today gathered to commemorate the atrocities that took place 100 years ago, pay homage to all those martyrs who were subjected to untold misery and barbarism 100 years ago, and most importantly, to draw a few important lessons from this ghastly episode of history. Friends, in the last so many years, successive communist and Congress governments in Kerala have tried their best to whitewash this ghastly episode, violent episode of genocide, from the transgenerational memory of the Hindus. The victims were not only given justice, but like rubbing salt on their wounds, the successive anti-Hindu governments, both Congress and communists, be that as it may, successive governments in Kerala and at the union level tried to whitewash this ghastly episode of genocide from the transgenerational memory of the Hindus, and in a crude way, as though to rub salt on the wounds of the Hindus, they not only denied justice to the victims, but also hailed the terrorists, who are no different from the Talibanis of today, as freedom fighters, and accorded such respect to them in official records of history. It is a matter of satisfaction that the Indian Council of Historical Research today has decided to eliminate the names of all of these terrorists from the list of the freedom fighters. They must not have found place in the list in the very first instance. Having said that, an attempt has been made to correct this historical damage. However, even to this day, the communist government in Kerala does not acknowledge the fact that the genocide took place. The official communist history, even to this day, narrates this episode as quote unquote an agrarian revolution against the landowning class. The typical communist line whenever they want to hide and whitewash the sins of the Islamic invaders in India. However, the communist government in Kerala is even today planning a series of events to celebrate the freedom movement contribution by these Mopla terrorists. It only goes to show the gross insensitivity and utter callousness that they have in regard to Hindu sentiments. Today, it is important for the Hindus, particularly in Kerala and generally all over Bharat, to learn and recognize a few important lessons from these 100 years of the Mopla riots. Firstly, it is important for us to recognize the pan-Islamic nature and the extraterritorial loyalties of the Islamic political leadership in India. Whether it was the Khilafat movement in 1921 or the much later Palestine riots that took place in various parts of the country. The pan-Islamism and the extraterritorial loyalty of the political Islamic leadership in India is something that all of us must recognize, acknowledge, and be aware of. The second important lesson that must be learned is that unconditional appeasement of Muslims in order to win them over on the Hindu side or the nationalist side has never yielded dividends. Unconditional appeasement of Muslims has always led to suicide of Hindus. This is a very important and relevant lesson that all of us must keep in mind. The third important lesson that must be drawn is that if Hindus do not write their version of history, then the enemies of Hindus will write it for them in a manner that suits their interests and their narratives. And if we do not learn lessons from the past, we are doomed to commit the same mistakes from the past in the future. Which is why, whether it is rewriting of the history from the perspective of the victim, with allegiance only to truth and truth alone, is extremely important. Even to this day, attempts are going on in Kerala to produce movies, not one but four, which is intended to show the terrorists who committed these atrocities in a very good light by completely twisting the facts and changing the narratives. We must oppose these movies legally, constitutionally, politically. These movies which are bereft of facts, which have twisted the facts and are creating a false narrative. In addition to that, we must ourselves write poems. We must use social media and produce movies which tell the truth to the people of today. This is also an opportune time for the Hindus to understand, recognize, and learn about the Islamic theological concepts of what is Darul Islam, what is Darul Harb, what is the treatment enjoined upon a kafir, and as these are the preliminary motivations for jihad. What happened in Malabar in 1921 was Islamic jihad that is now taking place in, say, Afghanistan or Syria, in other places. It is important for us to understand these theological underpinnings and not be ignorant of them. At the same time, it is important for us as a people to not forget these transgenerational memories of persecution. It's a crime in a few countries in Europe to deny the crimes of the Holocaust. If you visit Israel, every single street in Israel reminds you, screams of the crimes that were once subjected on the Jews. It is done so that the mistakes of history are not repeated again. which is why Pragna Prawaha and such other organizations are demanding the establishment of a Holocaust museum in Kerala, which is why organizations like Pragna Prawaha and other Hindu organizations are demanding the setting up of a Mopla massacre commemoration museum, which will document the massacre or the genocide that took place in 1921. I join issue with them, I join their cause, and I demand from the Chief Minister of Kerala, knowing very well that they have no regard whatsoever to Hindu sentiments and sensibilities, that such a museum which documents history, which documents the riots that took place in 1921 in a truthful manner, be made available to this generation and the future generation of Keralites. This must be done so that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. Friends, in addition to all of these things, the other important lesson that we must learn is of Hindu Kshatra, the ability to be physically, socially, politically, and economically strong and capable of a strong response. We must remember that during times of riots, the apparatus of the state may not always be there to protect you physically, protect your life and limb at every instance and at every eventuality. For that, we must be prepared. Kerala is the land of the Kalaripayattu. It is important for us to become strong physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, politically, and economically, so that we are able to resist and also put up a response of defense. All of these are the important lessons that we must draw. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share these thoughts with all of you. I pray with great respect the Almighty to give Sadgati to all those thousands who were massacred in 1921. And with a stronger hope that we as a nation, as a people, as a society will prevent such inhuman tragedies from taking place again, I thank all of you and wish you the very best in your quest to protect and serve Desha and Dharma. Namaskar.